Stadium, where we kick off Week 15 between the Broncos and the Colts. And there's Demaryius Thomas reporting for work, a big part of that Denver offense recently, 4 touchdowns in his last 6 games. It's Thursday Night Football from Indy.
All eyes on me.
Week 15 begins in Indianapolis as the Broncos and Colts face off on Thursday night.
Real fellas, let it rip today, all right?
Meanwhile, in Philly, the MVP candidate is out for the year.
Carson Wentz was in the tent. You know what that indicates.
Which team gains the most from the loss of Carson Wentz?
Hey, now we roll. Now we roll.
Plus, the surging Chargers caught the Chiefs in the AFC West. With first place on the line on Saturday, who will take charge?
Let's get the show going, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm having some fun.
It's all ahead on TNF Game Day, presented by KFC.
Let's go. Let's go. All eyes on me. Revving it up. Getting started. Time to press play. Yeah. You can't block me. Plugging it in. Level 10 to the earth shake. Hey. All eyes on me.
It's primetime football. Let's make a play.
Go busy. Get busy. All eyes on me.
Welcome to TNF Game Day, presented by KFC.
We are outside Lucas Oil Stadium where a 9-foot statue of the Sheriff, Peyton Manning, sits behind our set watching over us like he did the Indianapolis offense for 14 seasons. And you know a lot of these fans remember those good old days. I'm sure all of them wish that Peyton could take a few snaps for the Colts tonight. And I've got a couple of guys with me that he certainly could throw the ball to. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Amber Theo Harris and Peyton's teammate for 11 seasons here in Indy.
We're in the building.
Reggie Wayne, welcome
Thank
to
you for
Thursday
having
Night
me.
Football.
Appreciate you. I'm excited.
These fans have been chanting.
We rocking out here. Oh yeah, we're in the building.
Actually, we're outside of the building.
Steve Smith Sr., good to be back with you again, my friend. And my Hall of Famer on the end there, Michael Irvin. Welcome.
I love this 3 wide.
All right,
I love this 3 wide.
a lot of receivers on set here tonight. And
This
you know
is
what?
how you get it done right here. Just want you to know that.
Yes. Who's the #1 receiver, though?
Well, Reggie, I mean, it's a real treat
Don't
for all
start
of
that,
us to have the greatest wide receiver from the University of Miami
Oh yeah, appreciate y'all
here
having me in here.
with us on set.
Look at that, the U.
Look at that. Hey, look at that, Mike. It looks good, doesn't
That
it?
is unbelievable.
The guy on the right, Mike. The guy on the right. I ain't talking about the on the
Bad
left.
boys right there.
Appreciate y'all having me on.
Hey, that's all right there.
I love that. The University of... Go ahead, Touch.
Oh, there we go.
Touch. That's the U.
There you go.
You know it right there.
That is unbelievable. But you know, it's another guy up here from the U, the University of Utah.
Oh, we forgot.
And
Oh, that-
let's get those numbers for the
got you.
University of Utah guy, Steve Smith. So,
Whoa, this is the
let's see.
NFL.
Oh, Reggie, boy, it looks like H and 89.
Hey, you only beat me by 400 yards.
Man.
Hey, it's 400 more. H and 89 got both of y'all. Just
Yeah.
from the University of Utah. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Shout out to the Utes.
Yeah, shout out to Utes.
Don't pay for Utes.
Well, Week 15 starts here tonight, but there are big games throughout the NFL this week. A handful of games with playoff implications in both conferences. Home field advantage in the AFC is up for grabs in Pittsburgh. The NFC West is at stake between the Rams and the Seahawks, and a huge game in the AFC West, which we will have for you right here on NFL Network on Saturday. It's Chargers and the Chiefs with first place on the line at 8 o'clock Eastern to cap off our doubleheader. So huge games this week and several teams that have to win to keep their playoff dreams alive. And guys, when we look at the storylines for this week, Week 15, what are the ones to watch for you, Michael?
Well, first of all, the NFL is incredible. You have one team that started 4-0. You have another team that started 0-4. And right here on our network Saturday, both teams sit at 7-6, and they will be playing for first place in the AFC West. That's Chiefs, that's Chargers. It is incredible. The NFL is what they call in a courtroom the people exhibit. It's the ultimate evidence that this is not a sprint, that this is a marathon.
Reggie, what are you looking
I like
for
that.
in Week 15?
Well, week 15, it's a lot of stuff going on, right? But you got to look at these guys in Duval County. Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sorry, Duval. Saxonville Jaguars. These guys are causing havoc, and they're only doing it with their front four guys. They're causing pressure on all quarterbacks, and then you got those two monsters in that secondary, A.J. Boye and Jalen Ramsey. Play very well. One thing about this team, they're not worrying about the myth. They don't care how many rings you got in the past. They don't even care how bad Jacksonville has been in the past. They're worrying about right now, and right now, they got their swag.
And when somebody was messing with them, they said, listen, we understand everybody gets upset. They're not used to being beaten by the Jaguars.
Blake Bortles has a little swag these days. There's swag in Jacksonville.
For me, it's the NFC South, and I think you're going to have an NFC South playoff party. All three of these teams now are I believe, going to creep up into the playoffs because there's a few NFC teams that are not holding their weight and not using the momentum going to playoffs. These three teams are, and they're bulldozing their way into the playoffs.
I like it. That's going to be interesting. How many times did that happen? Where you had three teams from one division? I mean, we got to figure that out.
Happened a couple of years ago for sure. We'll get research on that. In the meantime, right now, we are out here getting ready for the Broncos and the Colts, and you cannot tell the recent history. Look, it's Tony Dungy. You cannot tell the history of the Colts without him and without Reggie Wayne. The man to my left spent 7 seasons with Tony Dungy as his head coach.
And we have them both.
And if you remember, that run culminated in a Super Bowl win. And with that, we say hello to Tony Dungy, Rodney Harrison, and Liam McEwen. Reggie, why don't you toss it inside to your old coach?
Hey, Coach, we need you. Tell us what we need to hear.
That was that, right?
Tony's outside, he's inside as well. They were talking about the receivers there. All right, at that desk, take your pick. Who's the best receiver?
I'm taking Reggie Wayne. I know what he did for me.
I'm taking Steve Smith. I know how much he kicked our butt.
No love for Michael.
Steve Smith should be a Hall of Famer, too.
Michael was the man, but he didn't play for me, so he can't be my number one.
Easy choice for you there.
Steve, you're a Hall of Famer, man.
Well, let's bring it to the Colts because disappointing season. T.Y. Hilton, their biggest weapon. Here's a guy who led the NFL in receiving yards last season. Why have they struggled to get him going here? Outside of the fact that obviously Andrew Luck is not here.
Well, they don't have many playmakers. The one playmaker they have is T.Y. Hilton, and he's only caught 9 passes in the last 4 games. And it's a combination of the offensive line struggling, the young quarterback holding on to the ball too long. But T.Y. Hilton, he's a big play guy, and if he's struggling, you have to move him around, put him in the slot, give him some quick passes when you know your offensive line has been struggling.
But this is the thing. He is a deep receiver, and to get that time to get deep, they need protection, and they haven't had it.
And this offensive line has struggled. They're confused. and that's what you're going to see from the Denver Broncos. They're going to pressure him. They're going to blitz him. They're going to use Von Miller, move him around. They have to block him or the game will be ruined.
And Von Miller's a guy who Chuck Pagano said you worry about him wrecking the game. So you look at him, you game plan for him. What do you do?
Well, he loves to rush off the left defensive side. So your right tackle is the guy who is under pressure. You've got to look to help that guy. Have a tight end over there, have a back over there, have some runs right at him, throw some screens, especially early in the game. You can't let him get going and feel like it's going to be his night.
And also use Jack Doyle. Jack Doyle, I mean, he's not going to wind up on anybody's Pro Bowl list 4 or 5 times, but he's a guy that's very capable of making tough catches. He has a big body. He's got soft hands. Get the ball out of his hands quick. Use your big tight end.
All right, you said Steve Smith. You took Reggie Wayne, which was predictable. I'll say Michael Irvin, because we'll toss it at Hamburg. Just keep everybody happy.
He's settled for Irvin.
Leave him alone.
What do you say?
Leave him alone. I'm going to give you one of my rings. I'm going to give him one of my rings.
Oh, Mike used to run with slants anyway.
He said he's going to give Liam one of his rings.
He has so many rings, he's giving them away, and he has a gold jacket. I have to throw that in. Trevor Siemian getting ready to take on the Colts. Can he protect the football? That has been an issue. It is Thursday Night Football here in Indy.
It looked like it. Eagle Mouse.
TNF Game Day is presented by KFC. Fill your family's mouth stockings with a $20 fill-up. It's finger-licking good. And brought to you by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
You ready for some Thursday night football? Yeah. NFL Network. Yeah. Let's get it there. Perfect, right? Football on a Thursday night. Bright light shining heavy. I see the NFL Network inside. Look, it's the preview before the action, and we quarterback. Got all the answers and breakdowns way before you ask. That's right. Like who to watch, who been hot, and who to stop, and who running through the defense without even using blocks. So when it's third and long, this show is more than a good call. The network for the NFL. Thursday night football, game time. Yeah.
Back in Indy, there's Emmanuel Sanders taking a little selfie, getting ready to take on the Colts and exploit the Colts secondary tonight. But let's look at the defensive backs on the other side with next-gen stats presented by Mercedes-Benz. The Broncos defense is quietly the best defense in the NFL. But against the deep ball, they've allowed 7 touchdowns this season. Can T.Y. Hilton get himself one tonight? Reggie and Michael are down on the field where it's warm to show us how.
Hey, we are here with the Ben Davis High School, Coach Mike and his high school kids. Coach, tell me and Reggie Wayne, a man that built this house, tell us about your season, Coach Mike.
We had a great year. Kids put in the work in the offseason. We went 14-0, won the state championship on this field, 63-14, completed the perfect season, and just a great group of kids are going to go on and do special things at college.
Coach, keep doing a great job. You kids worked hard this year.
Yes, sir.
And you won the championship. You earned it.
Yes, sir.
Great job. Work hard pays off. Now let's go over this here. This man made so many big plays in this building. Now tonight in this Colts-Broncos game, they need another man to make big plays in this building named T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to play T.Y. Hilton. We're going to run over play. Guys, get in the spot where you want to be. We're going to run over play. This play is called 844. It's how we can get T.Y. Hilton wide open on the backside post. Now, as they line up, I'm going to play Rodgers. This is my tight end. He's playing Doyle. He's going to run a short square route that will pull the linebackers up. I'm going to run a deep square route that will hold a corner on the outside and make the safety drive on me. And the quarterback, you'll be one-on-one with T.Y. and take that deep post. Let's run it. Line it up and go. Doyle goes and runs the square, makes them bite. I come down as Rodgers, give a stick here, makes him drive on me, and then T.Y., you got it.
And once Mike gets the safety to drive on him, and then we got the tight end taking the linebackers and sucking them in, what I do is I run my post route. I got all this room to myself. I got all this lanyard wide open. T.Y., we get the pass. And that's what we do. And what we gonna see, Mike, when T.Y. gets all that lanyard?
Now all he's going to do is turn, and when he gets that touchdown, you have just been T.Y., T.Y., T.Y. That's another Miami boy. Miami is everywhere with these champions. We're all champions out here. Yeah. That's how you become a champion.
Play Football and USA Football aim to give kids a safe and rewarding experience on the field at all levels of youth football. High school players have been submitting their best all year, and here are the best high school plays of the year.
Reese Shaw from Woodville High in Texas fakes the handoff, then flicks the no-look touchdown pass to Tyron Beatty. Another trick play from Brookhaven Academy in Mississippi. Everyone's watching the backfield, but where's the ball? It's downfield in the hands of Ethan Nations, who carries it in for the score. And some more deception, this time from Grant High School in Illinois. Pulling off the fake punt, Lucas Mendoza breaks a tackle on the left side and takes off for the sideline. No one is going to catch him. Mendoza runs it in for 6.
Well, those plays aren't bad, but hey, fellas, check out our high school flashback. There is Andrew Luck running and slinging it at Stratford High School in Houston, Texas. Luck threw over 7,000 yards in his career, and perhaps the most impressive, he was also the valedictorian of his graduating class. Getting ready for Thursday Night Football, Trevor Siemian on the field, looking to continue the momentum from the shutout over the Jets last week. It is Thursday Night Football from Indy. Welcome back to Indianapolis. The playoffs are only 3 weeks away, and in the NFC, things are only getting crazier thanks to a wild Week 14.
Breeze looking. It's intercepted by Deion Jones. Newton fakes to Stewart. Will run it himself. Good move. Taken down the 8-yard line.
Hand off Stewart. Leaps up to the goal stripe. Ball got knocked away, but they indicated touchdown.
Quick toss, Adams left side for the touchdown, and the Packers have won.
This is Rod Smith, touchdown of 81 yards.
Touchdown, Leonard Wester. Kick by Prater is up, and it is good.
Lockett wide open, makes the catch. Touchdown, Seattle. 4th down and 9. Wilson throws incomplete, out of the reach of Doug Baldwin.
Carson Wentz is out for the game with a left knee injury.
Back goes Goff. He steps up. He's hit. The football is loose. As the Eagles defeat the Los Angeles Rams.
3 teams from the NFC South currently hold playoff positions. The Eagles are the only team with their ticket punched, but with no Carson Wentz. Does that make anyone's road to the playoffs any easier? Well, to find out who, it is time for Game Theory, presented by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Here is Cynthia Freeland.
The NFC playoff picture dramatically changed in Week 14, especially when you factor in the season-ending injury suffered by Carson Wentz. And no team on the outside looking in on the playoffs will benefit more than the Dallas Cowboys. Sean Lee's on-field presence gives the Cowboys nearly a 70% chance to beat the Raiders this week. With Ezekiel Elliott returning for Week 16's matchup against the Seahawks, my model gives the Cowboys a 58% chance to knock off a banged-up Seattle team. Dallas will wrap up the season versus the Eagles, where their chances of winning have increased to 54%. Winning their final 3 games puts the Cowboys' record at 10-6, likely vying with the Falcons for the final playoff spot. Since Atlanta already beat Dallas and holds the head-to-head tiebreaker, the Cowboys' best chance to make the playoffs is to finish with a better record. The good news is the Falcons have less than a 50% chance to win 2 of their final 3 games, which means they'd finish with only 9 wins. The key for the Cowboys is getting to 10 wins. If they don't win out, they don't make the playoffs. But according to my model, no team on the outside of the playoff picture has a better chance to make it than America's team.
All right, thanks, Cynthia. That's a bold prediction, beating the Seattle Seahawks and the Eagles, winning their last 3 games. Michael, will the Cowboys make the playoffs?
I mean, I love what Cynthia just did. I mean, the numbers say they got a great opportunity right there. And she wore the blue representing the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you something now, what I noticed in this. Because sometimes when you're missing your greatest player on both sides, offense and defense, you start talking to everybody about raising their level. And on that defense, they did raise their level of play without Sean Lee. And then they got Sean Lee back, and that raised the whole defensive level of play. With the defense playing like that, if that offense can do the exact same thing this week and take care of Oakland with a raised level of play, and you saw Dak do it last week, how he was carrying that football team. He had his best game last week. And then get Zeke back, you better believe they got a shot at running into the playoff, being the most dangerous team and not the team that nobody wants to play.
They can make the playoffs, yes, but it will be a tough uphill climb. You have the Oakland Raiders, who are consistently inconsistent, and then you have the Seahawks with Russell Wilson is playing at an MVP candidate.
But you get them on the road.
Yes, but here's the thing, though. The Philadelphia Eagles, with Carson Wentz playing, you say, oh, they rest their guys, possibly, right? But Nick Foles is the quarterback. This is a dress rehearsal for the playoffs.
I like that.
He needs to have as many live reps as possible going into the playoffs. So I don't really believe that it's going to be that dangerous of a team. They just need to finish it out and play well, Mike.
Well, you know, everybody don't look at analytics and everything that Cynthia Freeland just showed us. A lot of people don't even know how to spell analytics. But at the same time, like Steve said, it may be too much of a hill to climb. Remember back when Zeke first stepped out, everybody wanted to put it on Dak. Dak said, put it on me. Well, that might have cost him. because now they're starting to get back to their old ways of running the ball now with Morris and Rod Smith, and it might be one game too late.
Yes,
so they're gonna need a lot of help, and I'm not sure if that help is gonna come in their favor.
I saw growth in Dak last week, man, in that game, and the way he played that game, the way he moved that defense around and hit Rod Smith on that post touchdown.
Fantastic job.
If you can do that, this game and get Zeke back, and Zeke comes back in shape, I'm telling you, they'll have a great opportunity to run and write a great story for America.
They're gonna need some help too. They're gonna need some help.
That is a great dream, Mike. That is a great dream. Here's the problem. You're playing three teams that also have dreams and hopes, and coaches don't want to get fired. So they're also playing desperate teams just like they're desperate as well.
But Michael Irvin keeping hope alive in Dallas. Keeping hope alive.
Cynthia kept it alive before I did, and I appreciate that help.
All right, we're getting close to game time here in Indy as the Colts fans and the Broncos fans are ready for Thursday night football. And Jacoby Brissett getting ready to lead that Colts offense. This offense has struggled. Will it be different against a very tough Broncos defense here at the start of Week 15?
Coming up on TNF Game Day, Big Ben hosts Tom Brady with home field advantage at stake. The Pats have the Steelers' number, but why could this week be a different story? Plus, the Chiefs got back on track, but will they make it 2 in a row and grab control of the AFC West in a pivotal matchup against the Chargers? When TNF Game Day presented by KFC returns.
Not at home for Thursday night football? No problem. Watch live primetime games with NFL Mobile, only from Verizon. Back in 2012, Broncos cornerback Chris Harris Jr. created the Chris Harris Jr. Foundation. Its mission is to help provide guidance and assistance to underprivileged youth. And through that work, he and his wife Leah have become champions in the Denver community, as well as in Chris's hometown of Tulsa. Former Walter Payton Man of the Year Jason Taylor sat down with the Broncos' 2017 nominee.
Give me 3. All right, now we're about to break y'all up as a group.
The Chris Harris Jr. Foundation, we started in 2012. Me and my wife just had a heart for at-risk kids, and we wanted to make sure we're giving back to the community.
There you go, there you go.
So we just came up with the Chris Harris Jr. Foundation, and mainly the theme was the underdogs.
You talk a lot about underdogs. Why? What's the underdog thing?
I was the underdog. I only had one offer coming out of high school. Came out of the college, starting all 4 years, and didn't get to the combine or senior game, so I was a big underdog coming in the NFL. So I tried to find the most at-risk kids and the most underdog kids that are going through a tough time in life.
Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work. Go to the middle.
So why are you so passionate about helping the youth? You do so much with so many people in different places around the country. What is it about it?
I was taught you always lift as you climb, so I always wanted to kind of lift the younger kids as I was able to climb up, and I just so passionate about them because I want to see them be great, just like how I've had to work to be great, and give them a little head start.
And Shop with a Jock?
Oh, man, I forgot about that one, man.
I got it all. You do so much stuff. I had to write it all down. Look how long this list is.
Man, you got to take the kids. I mean, a lot of these kids, they don't get to celebrate Christmas, so they don't get gifts. So a lot of times, man, we take these kids out, take them shopping, and they're not even buying gifts for themselves. They're giving them gifts for their little brother or little cousin or whatever.
They can't wait to take their toys out. Oh, smile, girl. This way.
Tell me what the Denver Rescue Mission is.
The Denver Rescue Mission is a homeless center where they take in homeless kids, homeless families, and kind of take care of them.
We're gonna make some gingerbread cookies later. You like cookies?
I mean, you kind of give them that Christmas present. You kind of able to give them a day to where they don't have to have that much fear in life. They don't have to think about what am I gonna eat tonight, and it's a blessing to be able to give them that.
What does it mean to now be the Denver Broncos nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year?
Oh, man, it's a big accomplishment, man. Definitely makes us feel even more blessed when we get to go do these things, and we kind of see how these other families are being affected by the world. So it puts life in perspective for you.
Great work by Chris Harris. Tune in Saturday prior to Bears-Lions to hear the story of Lions Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, Haloti Ngata. And before the Chargers-Chiefs game, we'll tell you the story of Chiefs nominee, Alex Smith. Well, we're getting ready to kick off Week 15 here in Indy. There's the rookie, DeMarcus Walker, showing his appreciation to the servicemen here in Indy. It is Thursday Night Football, Week 15.
TNF GameDay is brought to you by Verizon, best gifts on the best network, and by FedEx. Sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager. The Bucket List is brought to you by KFC, because no matter what year it is, fried chicken and football are a winning combination. Time for the Bucket List, presented by KFC.
Well, things are far from settled in the AFC right now. Things get started on Saturday right here on NFL Network between the Chargers and the Chiefs, and those teams atop of the standings, the Patriots and the Steelers. That's a huge game on Sunday with home field advantage on the line. And the Patriots have had the edge over the Steelers lately. They have won 4 straight, including the playoffs. And Steve, how are the Steelers going to finally get the best of the Patriots?
Well, Tom Brady is 54-10 in December, right? That's a fun fact.
I asked how they're going to do it.
I know, but what I'm saying, basically what I'm saying is it's going to be a daunting task. But the Steelers have they're stacked offensively. They have guys that are making plays, and Bill Belichick is going to take away their big threat, Antonio Brown. You're going to see right here, Ben is going to throw a deep pass to Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is their guy, but they're also stacked where they can get guys like Vance McDonald the ball. They can get Juju Smith-Schuster. They're getting him back from suspension. Then you got AB making some more plays. Then they have the outlaw, Jesse James. I love that name. Jesse James out there. And then also 75 receptions by a running back named Le'Veon Bell. You cannot just look at one guy with this team. You have to worry about a plethora of guys.
Well, we saw last week Monday Night Football where the Miami Dolphins laid the groundwork. They've made the blueprint on how to beat the New England Patriots, and that's by getting in Tom Brady's way, causing problems from your defensive tackles right up in his face and giving him off of his block. You have to make him move left and right, because if he sits there and he just picks you apart, especially with all the zone defense that the Pittsburgh Steelers run, you got to some kind of way make him go to his third and fourth receiver. And if you don't do that, it's going to be a problem. I really believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they probably wish that the New England Patriots would have won that game, because this was a tough week in Foxborough. They're upset. I can guarantee you that Bill Belichick was on all of them all week, and they had a long week of practice. So they probably wish that they won that game so they could come in this game kind of relax just a little bit.
They're going to play, and they're going to be emotionally ready to play coming off their loss. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, they know about being emotionally ready. Last week, they were emotionally charged with the Ryan Shazier, and we talked a lot about that. But the reality is, on the football field, they missed Ryan Shazier. I mean, they missed him badly. They got ran all over on this run defense without Shazier. This is what makes him so great. He's able to diagnose these plays and stop these plays and make it stop. If you're running like this, if New England can dissect plays and get runs on the outside edge, and then they get back drunk. Look at these linebackers play. You can't. They're not getting there. I mean, I was like, I didn't know that the Ravens had that kind of offense. They put up 30-some points. I didn't know that they could do that.
I don't think they knew that.
I don't think they thought they could do it. Now, without Shazier in there, and Grunt coming back, Tom Brady threw a lot of balls outside the numbers last week in Miami. That's why he lost that game. I guarantee you, he'll be throwing that ball right where Shazier is now.
Yes. But the difference, though, is these two guys, these are two surgeons. Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady are two surgeons. They operate differently, but they're going to cut you up if you allow them to. And the offensive line for the Steelers are sliding to wherever direction they need to. But also, too, the thing that I think we're not paying attention too. I believe it will be a shootout. I don't think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be just like that rivalry game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Steelers. Those games you can't predict.
A big return from Juju when he's coming back.
Yes.
Come back with a big game. The game like you had in Detroit when you had 7 for 190 and a touchdown. That's the kind of game he's going to need to have to beat the Steelers.
It'll also be interesting to see last week against the Dolphins. They ran a lot of man-to-man coverage, and New England couldn't get any separation.
I mean, they jammed them up on the line of scrimmage.
No separation.
That's one thing this desk will not have. You cannot jam a receiver on this desk. And they jammed the New England
But one thing about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they run a lot of zone coverage. So I'm interested to see if they would change up their philosophy just a little bit. Exactly.
Okay, that's an interesting point. That's why they went and got the Joe Haynes and all that. Exactly. So they can challenge more in this game right here.
That's the 425 game and possible AFC Championship preview. Everybody will be watching that game. Well, make sure to check out the NFL's social platforms to weigh in on who you think will be the TNF difference maker presented by KFC. Inside Lucas Oil Stadium, Frank Gore getting ready to take on a tough Broncos defense, just 52 yards shy of his 12th 1,000-yard season. What a man. We're here in Indianapolis getting set to kick off Week 15, and we'll have more football for you on Saturday. A couple of teams with playoff aspirations on the line.
Saturdays with the NFL Network. I can get down with that. PL, Lions and Bears when animals fight in the jungle. Carry a team, cause this ain't the time for a fumble. No. Detroit trying to shake in the playoffs. It's time for the rumble. Detroit, you ready? But Chicago was blocking the way to remind them be humble. Yeah. Hold on to your seats. They finally meet. Chargers and Chiefs. It's about to get deep. The West AFC. Who wants to lead? Look. If you ain't looking for the action, go that way. We lined up with a savage play. NFL Network Saturdays like, man.
What a weekend it's going to be. Rich and the guys will get you set for a doubleheader here on NFL Network on Saturday. Lions looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. And then the Chargers and the Chiefs battle for first place in the AFC West. And as you can see, both teams tied atop the division at 7-6. Kansas City won their earlier matchup, so that means the Chargers need a win or the Chiefs would take a hold of the division and the head-to-head tiebreaker. Time now for Courtyard's greatness on the road. All right, so the Chargers are heading to a chilly Arrowhead Stadium.
Actually, it's going to be 60 degrees.
I don't know what weather report you're looking at.
That's what I got earlier. I was happy. What did they say?
Besides the weather, there's a big football game, Mike. Reggie. Who is the favorite in the AFC West right now?
Oh, you got to look at those Chargers. They are doing exactly that. They are charging. And I know that the Chiefs, they might want to get Kareem Hunt more involved, but I know when they put that they put that film on, they're watching this LA Chargers defense led by Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. I don't know if you guys knew, but this Joey Bosa, he is a grown man out there on that end. He is causing problems, and all the quarterbacks face strip sacks, causing interceptions just like this. And then you also have Casey Howard. He is starting to follow guys now, Steve. He's what they call a lockdown corner. He's been following.
Those still exist?
They still got him out there. He's doing that. This defense for the Chargers, they're raising up their level of play and telling them, this is what we got to do to take a lead in this division.
And when I talk with the people in the Chargers in Chargers office, they talk about this game and they say, hey, you know, last time they beat us in week 3, we let them get out front. Kansas City, they got out front 14-0. Kansas City has to try to do that again. But the thing is, now they're hitting on all 8 cylinders with the Chargers in the passing game. And Keenan Allen is having an incredible season. We talk about the top receivers in this league, but we don't give this dude enough credit because he is definitely one of the top receivers. Now look at this, when they switch spots right here, they move around, they get the perfect matchup. I talk about physical talent, that's shoulders down, but there's a skill set shoulders up that this kid has. Look at the patience, young receiver, this is the toughest thing in the world. And he let that defense open up and he made that play. That ball was thrown while he was still in his break. Once he comes out that break, he is incredible. It's not just about getting open, he knows when to exactly be open, and that's difficult to stop. about.
What's fantastic about the Los Angeles Chargers is they are fixing some of the issues they had in the beginning of the season. They are finishing drives with points, and they're not missing field goals. The defense is creating havoc. They are just playing. And then when we talk about the Los Angeles Chargers and taking the division of the AFC West, one of the things, the Chargers are trending up, and the Kansas City Chiefs are trending down. They are going in the last two games.
They've gotten up about 28 points a game. Before that, they were at about 18. Now the Chargers are scoring about 33 points a game. So they had a bump the last two games, but it's still not good enough for what the Chargers are doing.
And I'm glad you brought up Keenan Allen, because he does need his props right now. It's 4 games in a row where he's had 100 yards more in all 4 of those games.
That's unbelievable.
And hats off to Phillip Rivers. No quarterback has been better in the NFL since week 5 than Phillip Rivers. That's one of the biggest adjustments they've made since the beginning of the season. And I'll be out there at Arrowhead alongside Terrell Davis, the Hall of Famer, getting you set for kickoff in Kansas City. Rich Eisen, Mooch, and Irv. It'll be about 30. We'll be in LA, where it's about 72 degrees with pregame coverage of both games. Bears-Lions at 4:30 Eastern and Chargers-Chiefs at 8 o'clock. All right, check out who earned the title of Courtyard's Greatness on the Road Player of the Week every week starting Monday morning on NFL.com/GOTR. And on the field right now, we're taking a look at Von Miller. Getting closer to kickoff here in Indy. Week 15 set to get underway between two teams that have certainly had their fair share of classic games in recent years.
An evening of great emotion. Then there were the Colts leading their division. Of course, a lot of that has to do with Andrew Luck. Manning stepping away, loses the ball. He can run, as you know. Andrew Luck, touchdown! Interception into the hands of Pat Angerer. Ball will be caught. Touchdown Denver.
Julius Thomas, his second touchdown of the game.
He's already scored 2 touchdowns tonight. You bet. The hat trick.
Touchdown Colts. Luck out of the shotgun. Pass is complete as the Indianapolis Colts will advance to the AFC Championship game.
What do you think you're doing? The game's on.
NFL Network Saturday Special. It's a doubleheader only on NFL Network.
Spectacular catch!
First at 4:30, the Bears and Lions square off as a classic rivalry is renewed, followed by Chargers, Chiefs as the wild AFC West heads towards the home stretch.
Touchdown!
When it's on, it's on. Saturdays starting at 4:30 only on NFL Network.
Welcome everyone to Indianapolis, a live look at Lucas Oil Stadium where we kick off week 15. It is the Broncos and the Colts, Thursday night football from Indy.
Touchdown, T.Y. What a throw! Von Miller around the edge like a torpedo. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Frank Gore. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. Throw to the end zone. Touchdown.
Welcome to TNF Game Day, presented by KFC.
We're about 90 minutes from kickoff here at Lucas Oil Stadium. There's T.Y. Hilton looking to get something going with the Colts offense. He is on pace for his 5th 1,000-yard season. But you know the Broncos' #1 defense, and that man right there will try to stop him. Von Miller and the Broncos getting ready for action against the Colts. And this is Peyton's house. Number 18 oversaw things inside this building for years. He's diagnosing the defense. He's calling audibles out here right now for us outside Lucas Oil Stadium. And the Colts might be out of the playoff hunt, but the fans are certainly showing up to support their Colts. And it doesn't hurt that we have a Colts legend of our own here with us tonight. Reggie Wayne joining us here on TNF Game Day. I know that you you are not used to this December weather. You are usually inside that building, making things happen.
I got a lot of miles in that building, and I like it that way.
Yes, it's very warm inside that building as well. I'm Amber Theo Harris alongside Steve Smith Sr. and my Hall of Famer, Michael Irvin, who has caught a few passes. I've got my wideouts, 3 wide, here tonight.
You put them 2 over there, I'm solo on the right.
And we could get an offense going for sure with that. All right, well, while the Broncos and the Colts have been postseason regulars for much of this century, both will be sitting at home when the playoffs begin. But there are still some compelling reasons to tune into this matchup and what has already been a season of surprises.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. But if fantasy playoffs and rapidly approaching real-life playoffs and the massive Patriots-Steelers showdown are the biggest presents under the Week 15 tree, Broncos-Colts is the surprise in the bottom of the stocking. So what could be inside this surprise Denver Indy package? There's Frank Gore closing in on the 1,000 yards from scrimmage milestone. He joined Emmitt Smith as the only players ever to do so for at least 12 straight years.
Touchdown, Frank Gore!
There's a trio of hopefuls auditioning for the Broncos quarterback job, under the watchful eye of one of the greatest ever. There's Von Miller headlining the Bronco defense.
Von Miller's got him.
The record might not indicate it, but they're the top-ranked defense in the league. And quite often, it's the gift you weren't expecting that ends up being the most entertaining. As Mother Nature proved Week 14 in Buffalo, 'tis the season when we find football joy in the most unexpected places.
So, gentlemen, no playoffs to speak of, but plenty of good reasons to watch this matchup tonight. And, Steve, what are you looking forward to most tonight?
Well, I'm looking forward to is Jacoby Brissett. I know he loves Jack Doyle, but get the ball early and often to T.Y. Hilton. The offensive line is already struggling, right? So you just get the ball down deep to him. Also a quick slant, quick hits. Just give him an opportunity to get out and get early, get going. Because what you don't want is Shane Ray, Von Miller, and all these other guys at the defensive line for the Denver Broncos to get after you. Because you've seen that Jacoby Brissett has been body slammed, suplexed, and DDT'd and people elbowed all season long.
Yeah, gotta give him credit. He keeps getting back up.
Oh yeah, I gotta echo on what you're saying. You gotta get T.Y. Hilton the ball because your team is only gonna be as good as he can take you. He is your best weapon on this offense. And it's interesting to see that the Denver defense, their strength is the secondary. That's why they call them the no-fly zone. So I'm wondering if they're gonna move T.Y. around, put him in the backfield, do something. Amber just mentioned it, there's no playoff implications, so now why not be creative? Put them all over the place, cause confusion in that secondary, and as we know, if there's one way you can beat the Denver Broncos, that's by the deep ball.
Well, we got our guy from the U who putting up some pretty numbers that they talked about, reaching some milestones. I would like to see him touch those milestones here tonight. Now, that's going to be a daunting task coming off 130 yards just 4 days ago. And he was running in that snow and running hard, so I want to see how that plays out. But I also want to go on the other side and see how the Denver Broncos handle this turnover situation. Can Travis Simeon get that ball to those big boys? They got wide receiver Demarius Thomas, my 88 clubber, and Emmanuel Sanders, get the ball outside. Get it in their hands without putting it in the hands of the defender. That's been the issue. They won a game last week because they did not have a turnover. The last time they did not have a turnover was week 4 against the Jets when they won that game.
It's going to be interesting to see what both teams do because they're both offensively struggling and their quarterback situation seems to be a little murky.
How can they keep Jacoby Brissett jersey clean? I know they're playing inside.
Well, because they're playing on turf.
Yeah, but he would have a lot of them, that rubber.
And they're going to be coming up.
It's going to be all over him if they don't protect and keep Von Miller, Shane Ray, all these guys off of Jacoby Brissett because he's going to have to sit back there in the pocket and look it down and find T.Y.
It's going to be, it's going to be a tee-off party.
This Denver defense has been hit or miss now. If it gets home on the blitz, that's great. But when it hasn't, it has given up the most big plays of the 31st team in the league, the most big plays. So now, if they don't, they need these big plays in Indy to win this game tonight.
But when you have two offenses struggling like these two teams, it's going to come down to who has the better defense, and hands down, that's the Denver Broncos right now.
All
right, for more on the game, let's send it inside to Heather Cox, who will be part of the broadcast team tonight, along with Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth. Heather.
Amber, heading into the Broncos game on Sunday, Vance Joseph called out some of his team leaders, challenging them to step up and play better. Guys like Von Miller, Chris Harris Jr., and Demaryius Thomas. Well, Coach got what he asked for. Thomas had his best game since mid-October, and the defense pitched a shutout. Now with 3 games left, the Broncos I spoke with agreed it's all about finishing strong, not only for team pride, but because they know that everybody is being evaluated. Trevor Siemian put it simply, I want to put good stuff on tape. And in Emmanuel Sanders' mind, now's the time to find out who's going to be on this team in 2018 and who isn't. Coach Joseph is relying on his team to be self-starters, telling them, I'm going to stop giving motivational speeches. It's up to you guys. You shouldn't need to be motivated. Now for more on Denver, here's Liam, Tony, and Rodney.
Heather, thanks. Talking a lot about motivation. That works not only for Denver, but for Indianapolis as well. These organizations really want to learn something about their players. What are you looking forward to tonight?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how the players come out, because this is a referendum on what they feel about their coaches. Do they want to play for their coaches next year? Do they want to be in the same system? Do they feel good about where they are? If they do, they need to come out and play well. I remember being in this situation, Liam. We were 2-8 when I was in Tampa, and telling the team we need to go play like this is a playoff atmosphere, and we did it, and it made a difference. That was the start of something special for us.
And for me, I'm always watching who's going to quit and who's going to continue to play. Anytime your team is struggling, you put on that tape and you want to figure out who's going to quit because of all the adversity that you go through. But Junior Seau was a guy that I had a lot of respect for, and we went through our 1-15 season, Coach, and we had a 29th ranked offense, but we had the #1 ranked defense. And at the end of the day, we used to watch every single game and see who would continue to play hard and who would quit.
And you know, it's tough for teams like this, like Denver and Indy, because they had high expectations. These aren't young teams that weren't expecting to win. The season didn't go right for them, but this is when you see the character of your leaders, of your team. Are you going to continue to do what you're supposed to do, which is play excellent football?
And if you love your coach, you're going to continue to play hard as well.
So neither club going to the postseason, but both of you say something's still on the line here tonight for players and coaches. Amber?
Thanks, Liam. And Jacoby Brissett, a man that shows character by just getting back up. As Reggie Wayne said, a lot of laundry detergent going into that jersey recently, and it's going to be a tough go against the #1 Broncos defense tonight. Play against the experts in the weekly Pick'em game presented by Lexus. Go to NFL.com/Pick'em and see if you know more than the pros.
Coming up on TNF Game Day. In Indy, the franchise QB has been sidelined all season. How will the roster look when Andrew Luck returns next year? And how close are the Colts to being AFC contenders again? Meanwhile, less than 2 years removed from their last Lombardi trophy, the Broncos are searching for answers at QB. Is the future signal caller on this roster, or is it back to the drawing board in Denver? As TNF Game Day, presented by KFC, rolls on.
Access. No access. Total access. What a catch! Catch? There's no catch. You want total 5 night a week, 32 NFL team insider access? Watch NFL Total Access. Tomorrow at 7, live on NFL.
Get your game day started Sunday at 7 a.m. with NFL Game Day Morning. Aaron Rodgers returns, but will he be able to run the table and get the pack back to the postseason? The Patriots head to Pittsburgh looking to bounce back from a bad loss. Michael Irvin will let you know who gets one step closer to home field advantage. And with Carson Wentz out, the Eagles' Super Bowl hopes took a hit. Kurt Warner will explain how Nick Foles can keep Philly flying high. Plus, it's Rams versus Seahawks with first place on the line.
You know I'm going to be turned up.
Mooch sits down with Pete Carroll. NFL Game Day Morning starts Sunday at 7 a.m. Then at 9, it's Rich and the gang taking you right up to kickoff.
Back in Indy, what's going on the field, fellas? Is that a little wiffle ball?
Robert Mathis. Quick hands, quick hands. Showing them old dog tricks. Yeah, that's just quick hands. Muscle memory.
I was about to hand him a wiffle ball bat. I just thought he was a little ill-equipped. Now I understand a little bit better. The Colts get ready to take on the Broncos. Well, let me ask you this. Between the three of you, how many snaps could you guys give Jacoby Brissett tonight? You think you have it in you? Now, one of you's going to answer.
You mean snap a finger? That's about all. Do a step? I don't even know what snaps were. I'm so converted to media now.
Well, I know a lot of people around here would love to see Reggie in that number 87 one more time. I am sure.
Blue too. That all blue look good.
Indianapolis has chosen wide receiver Reggie Wayne.
Throws one downfield. Reggie's there. Got it to 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Reggie Wayne. Manning throws to Reggie. Touchdown. Reggie Wayne. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Reggie scores with 13 seconds left to go. Oh, did he catch it? Reggie Wayne. What a catch by Reggie Wayne. How did he catch that? His 10th of the day. He's caught passes nearly 150 yards. He's now gone over 200 yards. That's his all-time high. Caught by Reggie. Did he get it? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Certainly some great moments from Reggie here in Indy, and they got a taste of Reggie back on the field a couple of weeks ago. You remember this? You were back here.
Yeah, I do. I remember. That's what you call pressure there, Mike. That's what you call it. They won't jump down. But I will tell you this. Y'all saw that pass right there? Y'all thought that was the first pass. That was just 301 because we warmed up with 300 passes in the tunnel. Peyton Manning threw 300 times in the tunnel for practice reps. So we didn't go out there and mess it up. So y'all thought that was the first catch. That was just 301.
That's pretty amazing. He's still doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Vintage Peyton, always prepared. And you know what? The next chapter was supposed to be Andrew Luck, and definitely right now they missed the Peyton and Reggie Wayne connection here in Indy. And as I mentioned about Andrew Luck, it appeared that things would be just fine around here with Andrew Luck under center, but he started fewer than half the games in the last 3 seasons. And not having your franchise QB certainly hurts, but so does not drafting well. There are only 2 players drafted by the Colts on this roster that have made the Pro Bowl, and some of the misses have been brutal. Just taking a look at the first round, these are guys that should be signing extensions around this time, but 2 of the 3 picks have been spent on guys who are no longer in the NFL. So for more on what has gone wrong in Indy, we welcome in our insider, Ian Rappaport. Ian, the last couple seasons obviously haven't gone as planned. Where does this team go from here?
I actually talked to Colts owner Jim Irsay about that yesterday, who told me he's going to get with new general manager Chris Ballard after the season and make a decision on the futures of Chuck Pagano and their coaching staff. Irsay told me he had no update as of yesterday, but based on the people I've spoken with there and the coaches on the staff, they know that there's a very real chance they will be starting over, giving the first-year general manager Ballard a chance to bring in some of his own coaches. Pagano himself has joked about everyone is on a one-day contract. They knew heading into the season that if it didn't go well, they could be out, and that could actually end up being what happens. Meanwhile, I also talked to Irsay about Andrew Luck. You were mentioning it before. He told me Luck is going to return from Europe soon. He is doing well, does not need a second surgery, and they didn't find anything ominous in his shoulder.
All right, thanks, Ian. Stick around. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. And Reggie, you heard what Ian had to say. What do you think the Colts' priorities should be going into 2018?
Well, first of all, let's bring Andrew Luck in healthy. Let's make sure that there's no surgeries for sure that's needed furthermore.
So thank you, Father. There's no need for surgery.
Exactly. And also, now that he's healthy and he's back, now let's get that offensive line together. Let's find a way to keep Andrew Luck clean and healthy. You can't do that with him getting all of these hits. Steve, you talked about DDTs and people's elbows. He's been getting that since 2012. He's the most hit quarterback since 2012. And he didn't even play this year, Mike. So, listen, they need to find a way to keep him healthy. He's your franchise. And get that offensive line in order so they can keep him upright.
You didn't know he could get sacked on his day off. How'd that happen?
On his day off.
Well, for me, they have to get this front office in order. Yeah. You have some dysfunctionality going on. You got a head coach who's, the GM saying, you give him one more year to show what he can do. Well, how can you show what you can do, and how can you be properly evaluated if your offensive line is no good, your $100 million quarterback is not there, your running game is struggling, your your shutdown Pro Bowl corner is not in the limelight.
But it's not Bowden's. I mean, that's not Bowden's guy, right?
I understand, but I'm just saying it's tough.
It's tough. It's a tough evaluation.
2013 draft is not even on the team.
Yeah, your whole 2000. So you're being evaluated unfairly and at a terrible disadvantage.
Yeah, I think so too now. And for me, guys, listen, this thing comes down to you cannot possibly fix all the holes that the Indianapolis Colts have in one offseason.
No.
So let's be smart about it. Let's take one unit and beef it up. You want to go get me some linemen? Go get me some linemen. But I believe that you would be crazy to allow Frank Gore to be here, to have another year, to be around here, and not go find you a young stud running back, Saquon Barkley, if he comes out, to get all that knowledge from a Frank Gore and put together with a young T.Y. Hilton and a young Andrew Luck, and let that offense be the catalyst that helps while you build a defense and get better on special teams.
Well, everybody knows the tradition here in Indianapolis. It's all about scoring points, and that's what they're not doing. So they need to find a way to get some more playmakers on offense and score points.
Adrian James and all that stuff when they were killing people.
Well, the Colts are not the only team with decisions to make. The Broncos also face a very challenging offseason. Now, I know the three of you, you might think it starts with the wide receivers. You all do. But if there isn't a capable quarterback to get you the ball, this is where you find yourself. Three guys have been given a shot this year. Nobody has really taken it and claimed the job for themselves. Let's bring Ian Rappaport back in. And Ian, what is John Elway's plan at quarterback for the 2018 season?
Well, based on the Broncos sources that I've spoken with, they know that the #1 mission for the 2018 offseason is to go find a starting quarterback. They are not convinced, obviously, that their franchise quarterback is on the roster. So what does that mean? From what I am told, all options are on the table, including potentially drafting a quarterback again very high in this upcoming draft, potentially spending big money on a free agent quarterback, names like Kirk Cousins, Drew Brees. Those are possibilities, or potentially even trading for someone like Alex Smith, who the Chiefs will likely look to deal in the offseason. This is exactly what the Broncos know they need to get accomplished this coming offseason. I would look for John Elway to be extremely active in this position.
All right, thanks, Ian. And so, Michael, obviously when you have the #1 defense, you have a small window to get an offense that matches, and Ian says they go for a veteran. What should they do?
And I like what I just heard Ian talk about, you know, because you think about it, with this defense, Talib and Von Miller, these guys are Super Bowl ready right now. They're still playing Super Bowl defense. Yes. They just need help from that other side. So I'm looking at going to get me an older guy. Hey, you threw out some names that I love. I love the Alex Smith name. But don't forget now, you can call Peyton Manning and ask Peyton about little brother Eli, too. Can we get Eli in here? You need somebody that's not necessarily going to make all the great plays, but not make the bad plays that these young guys are making.
But you said it just right there. Eli Manning. Peyton Manning already set the tone. Now you can go out, your brother can go out just like you did, wearing a Broncos helmet. Just need 2 years.
The Broncos Super Bowl
exactly. Just need 2 years. And like you mentioned, Mike, just don't turn the ball over. Let your defense and your playmakers on offense make the plays for you. Manage the game. It's okay to be a game manager at this point in time. Yeah. You just want to go in and win games and be successful at the end, so you can be carrying the hardware.
Well, I'm gonna take it a whole different direction. Van Joseph is a new coach, first year coach. And we all know when you get a first year coach, your power is limited. You are gradually giving power to your new coach so he can learn how to be a head coach. But the biggest issue when you have Elway calling out the team about what they're not doing. Well, Brother Elway, can you pick a quarterback? Because you got Secret Santa, Brock Osweiler, giving the ball away. And then you got two young guys who are not equipped to captain this ship, and it's going down in flames. So I just feel like you can't use a scapegoat like, you know, John Elway needs to be accountable. Yes. And you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You should be able to have the eye test for quarterbacks, because they haven't got, since he's been the helm, they have not drafted a decent quarterback in a very long time.
And I want to throw a little love to Gary Kubiak. I mean, I think we underestimate how great this man is with coaching quarterbacks and getting things out of them. You remember the year they won when Peyton Manning, he was talking about it's not about the big plays, it's about putting people in position to not make bad plays, and that's what they need to get to because they have the defense to do it. Now, do they still have the coach to do it? That's what we're learning.
All right, guys, let's go on to the field right now and take a look at some of the stars for tonight's game. Reggie, who are you looking for tonight? There's Frank Gore. There's your guy.
My guy from the U. We talking about milestones. He's not far away. Only one guy before him, Mike. Emmitt Smith had as many 1,000-yard seasons as he did. Frank Gore has an opportunity to get closer to that milestone. So I want them to give him the ball and kind of throwing a little Marlon Mack in there as also.
Yeah, he's a bad man right there, man. But I tell you what, this boy Jacoby Brissett, man, I got to give him credit, man. It's been difficult. Only 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this season. But he came over late, learned the offense, jumped on a field with limited players, and I'm telling you, I just got so much respect how he keeps peeling himself up off the mat.
They really like he is.
Yeah, he keeps coming up, man. He's done well for himself, man. If he doesn't make it here, he'll be getting some paid somewhere.
Well, that's outstanding. Well, we got right here another guy from the University of Utah, Garrett Bowles. And you know what Garrett Bowles is out there doing? He's out there throwing pancakes, smashing people, and dousing it with a whole bunch of syrup on top of them pancakes. Love seeing that. He's a guy, great young man, and from the University of Utah.
Well, I'll tell you one guy that they're excited about is this young rookie running back, Marlon Mack. He's your scat back. He's your third down guy who can go in there and you can put out wide. You can put him in. He can run in between the tackles. And he is a speedster. So they like him. They've been mixing him in more and more each week. He's a guy that can kind of get those mismatches, Mike, against those linebackers, and he can make the big plays after he get it.
Well, I'm going to jump in and give you some in-depth analysis.
Give it.
Von Miller is really, really good at sacking the quarterback.
Really?
Yes. And fortunately for him, nobody has allowed more sacks than the Indianapolis Colts. So it sounds like Von Miller will get to do what Von Miller does best.
It's primetime football. Let's make a play. Von Miller again. We need to make a play. It's going to be good.
Tough to keep Von Miller off your quarterback all night long. He steps away from pressure, but he can't get away from Von Miller.
Let's go ahead and get the win. Let's play what we got. Let's get the win.
Von Miller with the sack. Von Miller causing all sorts of havoc.
All right, so we have spoken all night about this Broncos defense. What will we see from the Broncos defense tonight?
Well, what you're going to see from this defense, you're going to see Von Miller is going to have an exceptional day. It's going to be what I call it a tee-off party. But also, too, Von Miller is going to get chipped. He's going to get double teamed. So that's going to open it up for Shane Ray, for him to have one-on-one opportunities. And these two guys, when one guy's getting ate up by a double team, another guy single man-to-man, it's going to be a bad opportunity for the O-line for the Indianapolis Colts.
I think it's going to be, like you said, a tee-off party to Jacoby Brissett. And Anthony Costanzo and Denzel Good, those two tackles for Indianapolis, they're going to have their hands full. They're going to be asking Coach Pagano, I'm going to need help from our running backs to get chips and things of that nature. So I think it's going to be everybody having a party in that backfield going after Jacoby Brissett.
And to make the difference, and it does make a difference. You know, the year they won the Super Bowl, they turned the ball over. They got turnovers. This defense, the Denver Broncos and Von Miller. Von Miller himself had 6 turnovers, forced fumbles. This year he had 2 in the Super Bowl. This year he only has 1. I know he can get to the quarterback. I need him to get back to what he was doing in Super Bowl years, getting to the quarterback and getting that ball out his hands and getting those fumbles.
But Reggie, these are your people. You've got to eat. We've got to escort you out of here. Give me a reason the Colts will do something against this defense.
Whoa, put me on the spot there. I'll tell you what, they're wearing these blue uniforms, blue on blue, first time ever. That's motivation there, Steve. They're going to look sweet tonight. I'm telling you.
The color
they
rush.
look good.
Reggie said he wanted to wear that blue on blue. Reggie said,
I wish I had that blue on blue.
It looks nice.
Von Miller's going to see that blue like a matador, like the red in the bull. He's going to go right after that blue on
that guy
blue.
right there, he's happy. He's kicking indoors.
Look at that
after
blue.
what he went through last week.
Easy, Mike.
Football.
Easy, Mike. It was a snow blizzard.
It was snow. That's why he's happy to be indoors. He has a lot of money riding on his field goal percentage. Let's go make that money out of him.
Well, Week 15 is underway with the Colts hoping to snap a 4-game losing streak as they take on the Broncos, who are aiming to build some momentum after a dominant win over the Jets. Football night in Indianapolis with Liam McHugh, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harrison is next. Stay with us.
TNF Game Day is presented by KFC. A $5 fill-up makes a great gift to your mouth. It's finger licking good. And brought to you by Courtyard, official hotel of the NFL.
NBC Sports, home of the Winter Olympics, the NHL, Premier League, the NASCAR playoffs, Primetime's #1 show, Sunday Night Football, and Super Bowl 52 on NBC.
Week 15 begins in downtown Indianapolis with a matchup between the Colts and Broncos. Super Bowl 50 MVP Von Miller leads a strong Denver defense that tonight hopes to slow down Colts dynamic receiver T.Y. Hilton.
Indy is coming off one of the most memorable games of the year.
This is really bad, and the snow continues to fall.
Coming up here to play in December, anything can happen.
Players ran out and did snow angels.
The snow is literally up to guys' ankles.
Pressure, and Von Miller's got him. While Denver is desperate to build on last week's dominating defensive performance.
Throws one up the seam, and it's intercepted.
All you have as a professional is what you put on tape. You can't take a game off. You can't take a break.
Broncos, Colts on Thursday Night Football.
Welcome to Football Night in Indianapolis, presented by Walmart.
And welcome inside Lucas Oil Stadium. The roof is closed, so a slightly more pleasant atmosphere for the Colts tonight than, say, Sunday's snow globe game in Buffalo. And hello, everyone. Lee McHugh alongside Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison. Tonight, guys, we have two teams that have had disappointing seasons, both eliminated from playoff contention. So you head into this one. What's the message?
Well, the message is let's win. I know a lot of fans say, hey, we're out of it. Let's get a high draft choice next year. But as a coach, you absolutely don't think that at all. It's about creating a culture. Win every time you go out there, play well. Who cares about next year's draft choices? Yeah, Peyton Manning was the #1 pick in the draft. That worked out great. But guess what? So was Jamarcus Russell. So you can't count on a savior coming in next year. You got to establish the culture now.
And that's from a coach's standpoint, but from a player's standpoint, I'm looking at who's going to continue to play hard, who's going to protect himself and quit. And to me, that judges really the character of the team.
So you're looking for people to finish strong. We're just getting started. And for more on tonight's game, we say hello to Heather Cox.
Hello, Liam. You mentioned that snowstorm. There was about 8 inches of snow on the field, and with more falling, it was nearly impossible to see, let alone tackle. But a few Colts admitted that the weather actually helped them on this short week because falling in the snow felt a bit like falling on pillows. And because players couldn't generate as much speed, the collisions weren't as intense. However, Frank Gore did say he felt sore afterwards, understandable after a career-high 36 carries. And at age 34, he set a record, becoming the oldest player in NFL history to carry the ball that many times in a game. Gore went through his normal recovery plan this week: ice tub, massage, more mental reps than physical reps. And although he doesn't expect to match that workload tonight, he said he'll be ready. On the other side, you can't scout what you can't see. So Broncos players and coaches turned off the film from the Colts snow game after about 15 plays and went back to week 13 film instead. Liam?
Heather, thanks. All right, you watched the film. How long did you last?
I turned the film on Monday morning when I was traveling. I watched probably about 4 or 5 plays, and I absolutely just cut it off because it didn't make any sense. I mean, they were out there missing tackles, and the snow was everywhere. It was just bad.
And you're right. We'll definitely see a different game plan tonight from the Colts. So that game meant nothing to Denver in terms of their preparation.
You played in some of these snow games. Is the recovery different?
The recovery is different. It's like your feet stay frozen for like 3 days. So even if you play on Sunday, you don't start feeling your toes until about Wednesday.
Yeah, the one thing Heather said that is true, there aren't those big collisions because nobody can run fast out there, but it takes you a while to warm up.
Tonight we've got the controlled environment. It's the Broncos and the Colts coming up on Thursday Night Football.
When you get in a fight, what do? Throw the first punch! Let's go out there and do our... It's primetime football. Let's make a play. Miller wrecks the Colts. Touchdown, T-Wayne!
Football Night in Indianapolis is brought to you by Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart. By Sprint. Works for me. By the 2018 Kia Sorento. Learn more at kia.com. And by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
It's good to get that little monkey off my back.
Fake to Dominic Rhodes, back to throw. Lost it down the middle. Stokely's got it at the 20. Touchdown, Brandon Stokely! Now he's up and running. Nobody touched him. Marvin, second of the game. Looks down the middle, throws it at Stokely. He's got it. 87 yards. One play. Reggie Wayne with a catch and a touchdown. Who's the MVP? You better believe it.
All right, let's go back to 2003. You guys lost to Denver in December, but then in the wild card, you absolutely shredded them. Peyton Manning saying, got the monkey off my back. What do you remember about that game?
Well, Peyton had a monkey on his back because he had never won a playoff game. I had a big monkey on my back. My first playoff game here, we lost 41-0. So there was a lot of doubt from people, and we were ready to go, but I'll tell you what happened, Liam. We had the national anthem, the same type of anthem we're going to have tonight. The servicemen holding the flag over the entire field. It was an electric atmosphere. The fans went crazy. I remember thinking, there's no way we're going to lose this game, and Peyton was on fire.
Coach, I remember sitting at home watching you guys, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, the 2 games that you guys played in the playoffs, you scored almost 80 points. And me being a Patriot, I'm sitting at home texting guys, calling guys, like, how the heck are we going to stop this offense? And fortunately, we had a great game plan.
Found a way, yeah.
And shut them down 14 points.
So you're on the couch, you're relaxing, and then just getting more and more tense as the game
more
goes
anxiety, and the more you see Peyton Manning drop back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, how are we going to stop these guys?
He was on fire that night, no question.
Slightly less anxiety and pressure here tonight. It's the Broncos and the Colts, but the action continues this weekend with several key matchups as teams push for the playoffs.
Let's keep the show going, man.
Touchdown, Keenan Allen.
It's about to be a glorious day, man. Aaron Rodgers has worked his magic. It's what we do.
And the 12s are going nuts. Touchdown, LA!
Welcome to Foxborough's Gillette Stadium and the AFC Championship game.
Pittsburgh, you're going back to the Berg. It gotta happen today. It gotta happen today. Let's finish this game.
A lot to look forward to, and the NFL Network crew is here to break it all down as we send you out to Amber Theo Harris.
Thanks, Liam. I'm along with Steve Smith Sr., Reggie Wayne, who is very well known here in Indy, and Michael Irvin. Let's take a look at how things stand right now in the AFC. The winner of Pats Steelers has the inside track to the #1 seed, and a huge matchup at Arrowhead on Saturday night between the Chargers and the Chiefs. They're tied for first in the AFC West at 7-6. And so with the Chargers going to Arrowhead, Reggie, how can the Chiefs regain control of this division?
You know, at the first quarter and a half of the season, that was a young rookie running back who we all thought was going to be Rookie of the Year. Kareem Hunt. We need to, Andy Reid needs to go back to the drawing board and do what he did then with Kareem Hunt. They need to get him more involved, running, catching, because he run out of ways to get Travis Kelce the ball and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and that's one way to do it on offense. Defensively, they have to stop Keenan Allen. He's worked his way as in the top 5 at best receivers in the National Football League, and he does it everywhere. This kid knows how to run, Steve, what you said, PhD, every route. And more importantly than that, he understands the timing of every route. Him and Terrell Williams switch spots here. Phillip Rivers put Keenan on the outside because he understands the patience. Look at the patience it takes. Gerald Williams takes the defense. Look at that spot. The timing of it, hitting him right soon as he makes that break. The ball was thrown before the break. It's impossible to stop it. You have to figure out how to stop him.
You have to figure out how to stop him, but the Kansas City Chiefs has a guy who has a week off, Marcus Peters. You heard all the things that were going on. So I would see excited, exuberant Marcus Peters going out there showing everybody, hey, I took a week off. That was good for you. Now I'm going to take my shutdown corner reign back. He's a gambler now, but he's going to go out there. Let's see how he does. I believe in him. Cali guy. Cali guy.
It certainly would be a big statement if the Chiefs win this game. And I'll be at Arrowhead alongside our Hall of Famer, Terrell Davis, getting you set for kickoff in Kansas City. Rich Eisen, Mooch, and Irv will be in L.A. with pregame coverage of both games. Bears-Lions at 4:30 Eastern and Chargers-Chiefs at 8 o'clock. Right now, let's go back to the NBC crew inside the stadium. Liam.
Amber, thanks so much. Of course, guys, Sunday night on NBC, it's going to be the Raiders and the Cowboys. Both these teams entered the season with huge expectations, but both of them currently on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoff picture. When you look at Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott suspended. They dropped 3 straight. Since then, they've won back-to-back games. What's been different?
Well, the difference has been their formula, and it started with Dak Prescott. It was no longer pound the run, pound the run. They got him going early in games with making plays, with scrambles, getting rid of the ball quick. But doing this, utilizing his legs, putting pressure on the defense, and Dak Prescott has realized that without Elliott, he's had to carry the load, Rodney.
Offensively, on the other side, what are you looking for from Oakland?
Well, the Raiders, they have no identity offensively. I look at Derek Carr, and they've turned him into a game manager. Quick passes, short passes, but it also comes down to Marshawn Lynch. And, Coach, for the life of me, I don't understand. You go out and you get Marshawn Lynch, yet you only give him the ball 20-plus times one time. You have to feed him the ball. Give it to him at least 20 times a game.
I agree.
Of course, before that on Sunday, we could have a game that could very well decide the top seed in the AFC. Pats have had the Steelers' number, so if you're Pittsburgh, how do you change the script?
Well, the reason they've had the Steelers' number is because Pittsburgh has not been able to pressure Tom Brady. They've not been able to force him into mistakes. They've had to blitz, and what they've got to do now is get individual rushes. Cam Hayward has to be a big key in that game Sunday.
Everybody tells me the same thing. Every time we do a Pittsburgh Steelers game, we got to stop Antonio Brown. But yet he gets 150 plus. Stop Antonio Brown, force those other young wide receivers to beat you.
So we got a couple of big games this Sunday, but right now, of course, we are getting set for the Colts and the Broncos. Demaryius Thomas still putting in the work. He and the Broncos looking to make it 2 wins in a row.
That medicine ball is too heavy for you too, Liam.
Takes the snap, throws one downfield, Reggie's there, touchdown! Reggie Wayne, 53-yard touchdown throw from Manning.
And that will do it. Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts are the Super Bowl champions.
Let's go, cut it loose. Happy you're my quarterback, man. I'm happy I missed it.
Into the pocket, he's hit and sacked inside the 5. The ball is free. Denver's got it. Touchdown, Denver.
Good drive here, good point.
Looks right, throws right, and the 2-point conversion is good. The Denver Broncos are world champions. They have just won Super Bowl 50.
He's won it all with both teams, and earlier this season, the Colts honored the 5-time league MVP with this statue outside the stadium. Think about Peyton Manning. We always talk about how super prepared he is for every single moment. What was he like in the build-up to that Super Bowl?
Same way, unbelievably prepared. We're about a week before the game. He's looking at the weather reports, telling me it's going to rain and we need to practice with wet balls. I said, Peyton, I live in Florida. There's no way it's raining on Super Bowl Sunday. We practiced with wet balls all week, and sure enough, it poured. That's him.
Peyton Manning.
Of course. And that Colts victory was Adam Vinatieri's 4th Super Bowl win. He won his first 3 with the Patriots, where he was teammates with Rodney.
I love Rodney. One funny story. We used to play little pranks on each other all the time, and so when he was my teammate, he would do something in my locker or something, and the other punter and myself made a tape voodoo doll and did some stuff to it in his locker because we had a lot more free time than he did. So he came out of his meeting, saw that, and I think at that point he said, I'm not going to mess with the kickers anymore. They got too much free time.
Message delivered.
Hey, he's a no-nonsense guy, but he is silly. He's fun to be around. I love that guy.
Different mentality from any other kicker you've had?
Yes, just, rock solid, very tough. Is a guy that you want kicking for you in the clutch situation.
No question.
Vinatieri now 44 years old, and he's still getting it done. Let's go on field live for a closer look at the league's oldest active player.
Yeah, and I talked to one of the guys on the coach sideline, and they talked about Adam, his presence, the leadership with this team being so young. And Coach, he helped me win 2 Super Bowls. He helped you win one.
He did.
He's the best clutch kicker in the history of the NFL. I love him.
No question about it. And speaking of older guys, the Colts have another one in running back Frank Gore. He got 36 carries last Sunday. I asked him if he was ready to go 36 more. He said, no, Marlon Mack's going to have to help me tonight. Mack's got a lot of speed. He'll get some carries tonight.
Yeah, Coach, when you have an offensive line that's struggling, you have a young quarterback that holds on to the ball too long, you have to get the ball to your big tight end, and that's Jack Doyle. Trust me, he's not going to be a 4- or 5-time Pro Bowler, but he's got soft hands, he runs decent routes, and he's a big target, Liam.
Well, Jack Doyle better get open fast tonight, because on the other side of that line is Von Miller. The one thing he does is rush the passer. He'll be coming off that left side with all kinds of moves, all kinds of pressure on Brissett. He's the guy that the Colts have to take care of and not let him wreck the game.
Yeah, and on Sunday, Denver picked up their first shutout in a dozen years. Rodney, they held the Jets to 41 passing yards.
No question. The guy that I'm looking at is Aqib Talib, and he's got he had a down year, only 1 interception. You see the frustration with the fight with Crabtree, but he better be prepared tonight. He'll have his hands full with T.Y. Hilton.
And their best corner has been Chris Harris Jr. He's playing outstanding on the other side. He gets a lot of balls thrown at him because of Aqib Talib, but that secondary will be looking to slow down these big play receivers of the Colts.
The guy I'm also looking at, Coach, and I see him on the field right here. He is huge, and that's Demaryius Thomas. Against these young cornerbacks, they're smaller. I expect them to have at least 4 or 5 shots down the field. I expect Denver to come out and pass the ball at least 30 times against the secondary.
And for the Colts, a man that most fans don't know, Margus Hunt has been outstanding for them as a special teamer. He has led the league last year in block kicks. He's got a knack for it. Look for him tonight on those special teams for the Colts.
And guys, I want to show you something. This was Hunt back in the 2006 World Junior Track and Field Championships, where he won gold medals in the shot put and discus for his native Estonia. He then moved to the States to train at SMU, where he ended up trying out for their football team.
I got a call from the coach saying that I've been handed a scholarship, so I tried to learn as much about football as I could during my Christmas break. So I tried to figure out if Estonia had Madden football games available for a PlayStation. So fortunately they did.
All right, so don't play football for the first 22 years of your life. Go out, buy Madden.
Right.
That's the new formula?
Yeah, who needs coaching, right?
Of course. Well, speaking of Madden, I want to show you something. We thought we'd have a little fun. We put Peyton Manning's Colts against Peyton Manning's Broncos. 2 teams, 2 quarterbacks. But let's face it, Rodney, it's all about the coaching in this situation.
Hey, who was that young guy right there? That good-looking guy right there.
Strong message.
What was you saying to official, Coach?
Hey, you got to get that call right.
Working the officials, then it's Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison, and it's 7-0. Tony Dungy playing it cool.
Yeah, we're okay.
It's easy when you have Peyton Manning.
But the other team has Peyton Manning, too.
And he's finding Julius Thomas. That made it 13-7. We go late third, though. Right after this play, we take a second look at the Colts defensively. Coach, what happened?
What's wrong with us here? How can we let guys be that wide open?
Coach, I'm used to y'all having a bad defense.
Well,
Joseph Adai
scoring. Is he in? I think he's in.
You go for the challenge, Coach. I hate to tell you, 15 of 40 on challenges with Indianapolis. It didn't work. It didn't work in Madden
either. Get this one either.
So it didn't work there, but Peyton Manning putting it away to Reggie Wayne.
I was going to say, who had the ball last in this game? Looks like us.
Reggie Wayne making a game winner as usual.
So it's Manning to Wayne. It's Manning and Free celebrating on the sideline, and then You and Gary Kubiak, handshakes.
I like it. Here we go, Colts.
All right, you want to mention something because we're just a few yards from the field here, and something stood out.
The one thing I noticed, you say what you want about Adam Vinatieri, but he was kicking, and he was making them from 60 yards. They probably could have gone 65 yards.
Yeah, you know, I asked Brandon McManus, Denver's kicker. He told me he'd be good from 65 tonight.
Slightly different conditions for this one. We saw 2 Peyton Mannings in that Madden video. Well, how about 2 Tony Dungy's? One here on sets and one here in the stands. Game face on, ready to go.
Welcome to the Mercedes-Benz Countdown to Kickoff.
A half hour from kickoff between the Broncos and Colts with Andrew Luck out all season. It's been second-year pro Jacoby Brissett at the helm for Indy. Tonight, he goes against Trevor Siemian, who said, quote, "We look like human traffic cones in these uniforms." Last season, in their regular uniforms, Siemian and the defending Super Bowl champion Broncos collapsed in December and missed the playoffs. This year, a disastrous decline came much sooner.
The quick throw right side is going to be intercepted in the end zone. Talib at the 15, 10, 5, touchdown Denver. 102 yards for Aqib Talib. The Broncos will find themselves 3-1.
We got to play cleaner, man. Okay, smarter, tougher, cleaner football. If we do that, man, okay, who's going to beat us?
We definitely hit a wall after our bye week, man. We came back. We just couldn't find that energy, couldn't find that momentum.
Jackrabbit stripped Demaryius Thomas.
Now ball comes out, the ball's ripped up, picked up by Peters, and a treacherous mistake made.
You never saw this defense get pushed around like this.
That is the ultimate kibosh.
This has become a street fight. Talib has been kicked out of the game.
We're going to take it one day at a time, and when you get in these type things, that's all you can do. And everybody has an answer. Everybody's got a solution. But the bottom line is, those aren't that easy.
He was just stating the obvious. You know, it wasn't really something that you can't see when you turn the TV. So, you know, we all have a piece of it. We're all listening together.
We need to be solid. We need to make a play. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
He's our boss, man, and if that's how you felt, the direction the team went in, man, I agree with him.
Gosh, it's been a long time coming. The Broncos win a game for the first time since October 1st.
I feel like we haven't even really got going yet. I mean, we're, 4-9.
Man, anytime you double your losses opposed to your wins, man, it's disappointing. Hopefully we found that momentum, and hopefully we'll finish the season very strong.
Tony, you've been in this situation before. Season starting to unravel. You know you're going to miss the playoffs, but you still got games to play. How do you handle it?
You talk to your team about what they're going to be known as. What is their identity going to be? I remember my first year in Tampa, we were 2-8, and we were going out west to play the San Diego Chargers, Rodney's Chargers. And I said, you know what? We've got to demonstrate who we're going to be, what we're going to be. We got behind in that game 14-0. I can't believe it, but Rodney Harrison was a thorn in my side even back then. He had a big interception early. We struggled, but we came back and fought back and won that game. And I remember walking off the field and saying, I think this is where things change for us. This is where we've demonstrated that we're going to be a good football team.
And, Coach, even though you're struggling, you have individual goals, but you also have team goals. And I remember back in 1998, we were 1-15, and we had the 29th ranked offense, but we had the #1 ranked defense. And I tell you, Liam, going out there after strip sacks, after fumbles, after interceptions, we kept fighting, nobody quit, and felt so good, and it felt like we almost were in the playoffs.
Absolutely. It means something to you because that's who you are. That's what you create, what you put out there on that field.
I want to go back to something we touched on at the top of the show, which is there are fans out there saying, hey, these two teams, they're pretty far away from contending at this point. High draft pick is out there if we do not finish strong. You say to them?
Yeah, you don't worry about that at all as a coach. You're not worried about that draft choice. Those fans think that guy's going to come in and save you. You're worried about, hey, let's get our team where we believe in each other and we feel like we're going to win every time we go out there.
Win football games. Don't worry about
the future.
Tank it, yeah.
Clearly, Andrew Luck's absence, a big reason why Indianapolis is in this situation, and clearly it's had a negative effect on the Colts' top playmaker, T.Y. Hilton. After leading the league in receiving yards last year, numbers way down, Rodney, as we take a look at the starting lineup.
Yeah, an inconsistent quarterback play has really affected him. He's only got 9 catches in the last 4 games. He's their big play target. Max protect and give him opportunity to make plays down the field.
And the Denver defense looking to control those big plays by the wide receivers. We talked about the corners, but Darian Stewart, the safety in the middle of the field, he'll be critical, not letting those post routes get open.
For the Colts defense, I'm looking at Jabal Sheard. And with this young secondary, you don't want to blitz and leave him out on the island. So it's up to him to create pressure on the quarterback, but also stop Frank Gore in the run game.
Denver offense has been inconsistent, especially at the quarterback position, so that means you got to have a strong running game. C.J. Anderson can do it. He's a physical runner. They need 20 carries from him tonight for 100 yards.
And Tony, for Anderson and the Broncos, they're still looking for their first road win of the season. Football night in Indianapolis continues after this.
Away off one hit. He spins away. He's wide open.
What a pass from Jacoby Brissett.
IND, let's go.
What a huge play by this Bronco defense.
Our first player is Paxton Lynch. He was voted most likely to turn into a fancy candlestick at midnight. Here's Brock Osweiler. He was voted most likely to be a kid from Stranger Things 2 years from now. They grow up fast. They grow up fast. Up next for Indianapolis is Anthony Johnson. He was voted most likely to be James from The Roots after a 2-week bender. You're gonna see that.
Tonight, Jimmy will have Kevin Hart on the show. That's tonight. But last night here in Indianapolis, Pacers hosted the Thunder. Tony, you attended the game and you got a slightly warmer ovation than Paul George.
I did, and it was great being back there. One of the things I enjoyed about my coaching time. But I tell you what, I saw a guy who people are looking at as the most valuable player in the NBA, but I saw a free safety, Rodney. This guy, I think, could lead the league in interceptions if he played defense.
Coach, I love him as a basketball player, but he'll get crushed if he come out on that football field. He might last 4 or 5 games, and then we'll put him on IR.
4 or 5 games, but they would be exciting.
Oh, yeah,
4 or 5
games. He's a beast.
All right, back to football, and right now let's go back outside to the NFL Network for their picks on tonight's game.
Well, thanks, Liam. It is that time of the night where we have to get off of the fence and make a pick. So who are you going with, the Colts or the Broncos?
Well, I'm backflipping off the fence. I'm going with the Denver Broncos 23-17.
You hear these people back here?
Nope, I don't.
You see this beautiful building back here?
I can't hear them.
I've helped build a foundation in this place. There's no way I am picking the Denver Broncos. I am picking the Colts 23-20.
Man, so it's going
to be interesting, Reggie. But you are not playing in this game, and since you are not playing, I wanted to go with the Colts, but I got to go with the Broncos 24-17. You changed.
All right, let's send it back to you inside Liam.
All right, so Reggie's got the Colts. Time now to simplify the game, presented by Microsoft Surface. Earlier this week, Chuck Pagano says you're really trying to avoid having Von Miller wreck this game.
And he's capable of doing that. We're going to look here, and Von Miller is going to be on that defensive left side most of the time. And Rodney, I hope they don't do this too often for Jacoby Brissett's sake. Don't leave him on an island, that offensive tackle, where Miller can go inside, outside, or in this case, run right over the tackle. They better give that right tackle some help.
Yeah, most people think it's just speed and quickness with Von Miller, but that's the power, the relentless effort. And look at him, Coach, just getting after him. You have to help with a running back or a tight end to chip him and slow him down.
Give that right tackle some help tonight, or he will wreck the game.
So the Broncos, they have Von Miller, and one Broncos fan, he has a rather specific Christmas wish list. A Broncos win, then a sports car, then world peace, then John Elway for president. Again, world peace at number 3 then.
Get that Broncos win first. Right?
Simplify the game. Presented by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
Well, I've played in a handful of snowy, crazy weather games.
Snap, ball down. Kick is up.
different situations, different things on the line.
A snow game to end all snow games.
In Buffalo, it was just so much snow accumulation on the field. Big offensive lineman cleared as much ground as they could.
A 43-yard extra point attempt by the 44-year-old Adam Vinatieri. Kick is on its way, end over end.
The Buffalo guys saw that it started right. They were, yeah, it's no good. And I just kind of waited, wait for it. It's going to move, and sure enough, it did.
It is good.
Anyone in the history of the NFL you'd rather have kicking in those conditions?
Never. I love Adam Vinatieri. He helped me win 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I never once sent him out there where I thought he was going to miss a kick. He was just so rock solid.
All right, time now for cover 2. A lot of uncertainty heading into this game for both the teams. You're walking around the field. What have you picked up?
I had a chance to talk to Emmanuel Sanders, and we were thinking basically the same thing. And I said, what do you play for? He said, I play for pride. I play for my teammates. I play because I remember when I was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was the 4th wide receiver. Now I have an opportunity to start and make a difference.
Yeah, and I talked to a bunch of coaches, Rodney, and I don't know how the players feel, but these coaches all feel like they're being evaluated, that their group better play well. Their jobs are on the line tonight.
Speaking of evaluations, these two teams, they know they are not headed to the playoffs, but they want to learn something about their players here tonight. What are you looking for?
Well, me as a coach, I'm looking to see how the players are going to perform when there's no playoffs riding on it. Are you going to be a guy that I can count on next year? And that's important. If you want to be on my team, you better play well tonight.
I tell you this, nothing bothers me more so than a guy quitting. And I remember myself and Junior Seau, we would watch film in our 1-15 record. We would watch film and see who would quit, who would continue to play hard, because that means a lot to the organization, but it also means a lot to those guys in the locker room.
All right, we're approaching kickoff. Let's get the picks. Who's going to win and why?
Predictable. Go ahead and pick the Colts. You got all the fans.
We'll go through.
I have to pick the Colts, but you know what? Rodney told me this, Liam. This atmosphere is not like what you're used to coming in here. I'm going to pick the Colts because they're at home. Hopefully these fans gear up.
Do you still have your house here?
I do.
That's why he's picking. I'm going with the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, we couldn't have. And we didn't know that from the way you were dealing with that.
Because they're a lot better than the Colts.
Wow.
Fair enough. All right. We're getting set for the Broncos and the Colts. The picks are in, and don't tell this couple that this isn't a big night and a big game. This just happened. A wedding on the field. They also received a pair of tickets to Super Bowl 52 from the NFL. Already a big evening here in Indianapolis.
This has been the Mercedes-Benz Countdown to Kickoff.